Hi, today I, Terry, am jumping back into Cinema 4D after a long summer break. Well, about 6 weeks. And I want to show you really quickly how to bring in an image, a bitmap, a JPEG, a PNG file, a picture, and put it on your 3D model. And it's basically pretty simple. It's just a lot of tiny little steps, and one wrong move and your image disappears. So go ahead and take a look here. Right away, I want to show you something that is important. You can take a look at what settings I have right here and try to use these same settings. I've got a projection that's flat, which allows me to move my 3D model around and keep the image still. And I have it set to simple and front view. And I can now render the picture. So I'm going over these things even though they're coming later in the steps, but it's important to make note of those settings that I have right now, because when you start playing around with these settings under simple, you have grid and solid and front view, back, and both, and flat. You have all these different options. And as soon as you start clicking around, you can get all mixed up, messed up. Like, for instance, if we click frontal, we're going to be positioning it, but when we're done animating, it stays frontal to the camera. And when you move your 3D model, it gets stuck, and you get a headache trying to figure that out. So let's go back to flat. That's where I was, and let's stay on simple for now and front view, because what happens is it's going to show in the back when you're on front, and under front it does have an option to use both, where your image will show on the front and the back. But it's important that your 3D model is positioned view or cameras, front, because if your character is not positioned front and you're trying to set up your image, your picture to be on your, file somewhere, it's going to get messed up. Now, I just turned the picture, and I'm selected. I've got the texture mode selected up here, and that's what we're going to be working with. But if your character, your object, is not positioned front, frontal, when you click on this guy, you're going to be wondering, okay, where's my image? You're going to lose it. So make sure that your 3D object is the way it should be. Front, back. There's the back. We can see the image showing on the back, even though we go over here to front view, the back is showing. You'd be like, why is the back showing? Okay. But if we render here, boom, it's not there. And that's what we want. So it gets a little tricky. And so cameras, back to front, making sure that your 3D object is aligned to front. And then if we are going to get on this tool, we're going to select the texture tool, and we're going to go back over here to the object menu, select the bear mesh, and then we're still in front view with the 3D model too. Well, let's go to perspective. Okay, so there, perspective mode. Now this is important because when you like me, you just like to try to figure it all out on your own. And then you go crazy. And you go, why is Cinema 4D kicking my butt? Because you didn't have patience to take the class or read the instructions. Okay, so here we are in frontal mode. And I have now selected the texture use model or texture mode. And then we can go up to the move tool. Now we can move the texture, but it's not moving. It's because possibly I did not have the tag selected. Yeah. So up here in the object menu, if you're not, there's all these little things. So we want to go over here to the left. To use the texture tool, we're going to enable it by clicking it on. Then we're going to be working over here with this texture tag. And then we'll be able to move it like so. Okay, so you've got a good glimpse of what my settings are. Flat, simple, and front. And then I have deselected mixed textures. And if we have, or not mixed textures, but yeah, I do have that one deselected, tile. So if we have tile off right here, we're gonna see just a single image is what we want. And then we're gonna go to our offset and length and play with that. But I'm gonna show you how to bring an image in real quick. So what we want to do is I'm gonna open a new file and start again with this guy right here. And there he is. He doesn't have any texture on him. He's actually, I've just taken a bunch of EJ's iDesign tutorials. He's just awesome, teaching us so much. Like, I've been in here for years, and I'm like, oh, wow, didn't he figure it all out, all the new stuff. He makes it really fun. I'm just crazy about that guy, his teachings. So here we are in with our 3D model, and the only thing I have on here are some textures, and they're all colors, and you can learn to do the coloring if you don't know from EJ and all his classes. I think it's iDesign.com. And okay, so we're going to create, so what I'm saying is we just have colors. We don't have any materials brought in onto this bear. We don't have any JPEGs or PNGs or any picture files. These are all just shaders and colors. So what we want to do to start with is go create new material. And we're down here in the materials menu. And I kind of blew everything up so you could see all this, but I like to do that anyway, colors everywhere. So we've created a new material, and we're going to double click on it. And I think we should name it, just so that we don't get confused. We'll just call it shirt logo. Alright, great. Okay, now we have all these channels, but we're just going to stay with the color channel. And not all of them give us the option to get a texture, but a lot of them do. So we'll stick with the color channel right here. And where it says texture, we can click right here or on the arrow or whatever. And then we're going to come in and we're going to get our picture file. Ta-da! And we're going to open that up. And we're going to say, yes, we want to, image is not on the project search. Yes, we want to create a copy. There we go. So boom, there's our material right there. Now we have a material on, we have a texture material on a material ball. Okay, so the first thing we do now, we've imported our material. And this is so cool. This is so awesome. This is so amazing, Cinema 4D. So now we can click on that material ball. We see the little girl in the green here. Shirt logo. Okay, click and hold your mouse down, button down, and drag, and we can see the no button. As soon as we hold it over the mesh, it gives us a plus. So we can drop it on like that. We can also drag it up here into the object menu right on to where it says bare mesh there. And there it is. There's our material ball over there. And let's blow this up so you can see this a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go. Now we got to slide down, but I can pull it down. Click and drag and you can move your tags. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out really quick is for the longest time, I thought that this material ball was, and when I dropped the material ball on and it made this, that this was the material ball. And it is sort of, but it's not. It made a texture tag. So the texture tag, you double click on it, you click on it once, you have a bunch of different function settings on this texture tag that are different from the ball over here, from this guy, from the material ball. They're both different. So the material ball, you double click, you get a bunch of settings to fiddle around with and go crazy on. And then under the bare mesh, it made a texture tag. And the texture tag has settings, and that's where we're going to be at now. Okay? We're going to forget about the ball down there. And, yeah. We're going to work on with this material tag that I pulled and dragged and dropped onto the bare mesh. And we're going to be working with, we're going to click over here on the texture mode, and we're going to be working with those two things. And we're going to be working with the model as well, the 3D model. You can see I selected it. And I went over those things. Remember, it's important that under cameras, front, you know, it's that, it says cameras. Oh yeah, you can see I have a new model open. Oh yeah, this is kind of cool. I have a new guy. I'm glad I looked at this again because of my old file. I've got my character is not facing front, see? So I'm going to turn my character, selecting the top and zooming in and get my character turned frontal, because what was happening was she was like this, and then her texture, like I was saying, this is the grid that holds it, was on the side somewhere, and I couldn't see it when I choose frontal. So we're going to go, okay, we're going to go back to camera's perspective. And then cameras front. She's still not turned front. Okay, Tare Bear. Oh yeah, we're on the texture, so I can undo that. Or we're on the texture tool. And then now we're on the 3D model. Okay. And I'm at the null. Okay, so we're going to turn that frontal. There's those numbers that show me it's just about straight. There we go. Okay. Oh, look at my bear. Look at my bear. Oh, I love this program. It's so cool, but sometimes this bear doesn't have a brain in her head. Ooh. She's got eyeballs though that pop out. Okay. Cameras, perspective. Now we've got our character facing front, because we're going to put that, well, we've got that texture on the character and it's a mess. But now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here so you can see that that material is on there, but it's stretched all around. Now's the tricky part. And we want to come over here to the object manager, select the texture tag, and then we want to come down to the tag functions. And the first thing we'll do is, let's go ahead and go to flat. And let's click off tile. Okay, so that tile means it's not tiling that material, multiple times. It's now the length, and the UV length is 100%. So we've turned off tile, and now I think the first thing we want to do is, the texture's too big. It's too large. It's still stretching. We want to turn our character around, and we can see that it's stretching all over the body. It's kind of cool looking, but that's not what we want, do we? We want to bring it down. So let's zoom in a bit. Click back on that material tag, texture tag. It's kind of funny, it says texture tag, and then this is the texture tool, but this is the material ball. So this helps with the texture. It's the JPEG or Ping or what's another one? One of those picture file formats. Okay, so flat. Now let's go down here to length view and start to play with this guy. See what I'm doing? I'm on length U, but I'm clicking on these tiny arrows at the end, and I'm just kind of scrolling up and down. And so we can kind of see that we want to come down to about 50. And let's try this one. Let's bring this down. Now it's disappearing. So let's okay. So I'm gonna bring that up a little. And now see, I'm gonna start playing with this, with the UV, the length. And it's kind of getting all wonky. So let's go ahead and come up here and click on the texture. See, I think that what we can do now is go to side, and where it says both sides, let's click front. There we go. And then I think you see what's going on here. What happened is I've got my texture mode, and it holds this texture on here too. So I'm moving the offset over in the Attributes Manager, and I'm controlling the texture with this texture thing. And if you notice, the texture is turned. See? So you have to have that, your 3D model character, you know, turned the right way. And then you got to have this guy turned. Remember I was talking about that. And I was emphasizing that. Now we can see that it's coming around the right way. And we have some control here. And then remember, you have to click on the texture tag. And now we can start to see it slide smaller or stretch longer. And then we can get on the move tool and move it this way, slide it down till we get it just right. And we can lock that open if we want. See how you do that? Texture tag, you can lock it. Or you can just make another window and then lock it by adding the plus. So that when you click on another button, you don't get all the other functions. I don't know, we were getting some. I'm going to turn the lock off. We're getting some functions when I click on this. What? Nothing except for this arrow. Unless I'm missing something. Okay. Getting off track. Okay, but alright, now I've been used to go crazy. It's easier to do this now in the newer versions of Cinema 4D, but I always like the same old thing, forget, because as soon as you start playing around with flat and cylinder, UV mapping, everything goes wonky crackers. And you can have all the fun you want playing with that. Because I've already spent 5 million hours. And you can just watch EJ give you all the facts, or someone like that. Okay. But here's my spiel on it. This is getting me warmed up. I gotta get back to work. I got tons of 3D game models to make for our game design. And you can find us at starfluke.com. We're building a 3D infinite universe. And I'm modeling and doing art stuff for it. But the programmers are making it all cool. So we can, let's resize our logo just a little bit more now. So see, I'm on the length. And then we go like that, and yeah. And then we move it with our arrow tool. Like this. And then also what was important is, remember, you need to go, okay, I had everything all backwards. I had the texture thing turned around, and let me show you what it does. See, if you've got it all spazzed out or whatever, or turned around, you'll have the setting on frontal or both, and you'll render, and you'll be like, why is that back there like that? So it's important that you remember that you can turn the texture mode tool, this guy, you can turn him, and or you can have your model turned around lopsided. So you want to line those two up together. But look, hi. But if we render it, oh yeah, so it's showing on the back. Clicking on the tag. How come it's showing on the back? Well, because we got it flipped around. We've got something wrong. But they'll still show. So this will throw you. Because you can be on front or just back. Oh, now it's just showing nowhere. So have fun. And hopefully you can look at the settings that I had to begin with in this tutorial. And I think I've got it now. No. So I think what I have now is, I'll show you. I figured this out. Now, even when it's on back and front, sometimes well, maybe it doesn't. Yeah, see, I'm on front. Over here in my object manager, I'm on front. Still shows. But when I render it, there it is on the back. And it shouldn't be on the back. It should be on the front. And then when you render it, it works. But what I did was I just flipped this texture mode tool around, and you can see this. You can see it turn around now. And you can render it. And then you can move it, slide it, see what it happens. Let's see. So funny. Oh, I don't think this is straight. Oh, whoops. Yeah, so it's kind of invisible. I think there's a tool that shows me. There we go. There we go. And then slide it over. There we go. Now, so it's invisible, that wire, so it gets kind of like, oh, now we can render the back. It's still showing on both. And the front and the back. It's off. So you see how that works. And then when you play around with these, when you turn the grid on, it does help a little. But I wanted to just show you, because then you can see. Let's see, can I still, yeah. It's the projection that will change it. Now you can see the yellow grid, which kind of helps you line up. And it's when you do the projection and you start playing around with all of these that, it's important that you go ahead and use your offset UVs down here and make sure that your character is facing front or back, and if you want it, the texture, the graphic to be on both sides, you just turn both on. So that's what both means. Both means I do want it showing on both sides. And like I said, it was still displaying. You saw that. Okay. It's still displaying on both the back and the front, but not until you render it. So there you go. Okay, there's my thingy. There's my little helper. Yeah, I am all for Cinema 4D. I'm crazy over it. I get on it and I have a little coffee and I'm gone. And it kicks my butt. Really, I should say my brain. Alright, guys, have a great day. And I hope that was helpful. And if you took the time to listen, I know it will be. Especially if you're new to Cinema 4D. Okay, we're GameStudio.com. And we're making games. I see you. Goodbye. Goodbye for now. Oh, I do have legs. I think you might have seen that when I rendered. Oh, I have learned all these cool settings thanks to EJ at iDesign. He's like my favorite Cinema 4D person now. Okay, bye. I love to talk. And I love to animate and create.